Hello and welcome to This Week in India's Science. I am Subhra Priyadarshini. In today's bite sized episode, we'll explore how AI is peeking inside plastics, how tiny raindrops teach us about storms, why India is moving away from animal testing, and how a rare form of silicon might just light up future technology. Kicking off with something we all touch daily, plastic packaging. A team at Jadavpur University in Kolkata has trained AI to predict toxic chemicals commonly used in plastics. They scanned thousands of compounds to spot the ones that could harm the brain, lungs, liver, and the reproductive system. Kunal Roy at Jadavpur University says,
We analyzed more than 6,700 chemicals from plastic packaging, trained machine learning models to flag the toxic ones, and found that features like aromatic rings and bond flexibility are key. Two of our models could predict toxicity with more than 90% accuracy.
two models achieved over 90% accuracy, not bad for a first pass. They also pinpointed chemical features that drive toxicity, like certain ring structures and bond flexibility. This could change safety testing, turning what usually takes days in a lab into seconds on a screen. But the real power here lies ahead if models learn to account for real world factors like temperature, pH, humidity, and predict leaching behavior from plastics. That's the next frontier. Read a research highlight on this in Nature India this week. Ever wonder how raindrops break apart mid fall? Scientists at IIT Hyderabad are now measuring that split in labs, recreating atmospheric conditions. What they discovered is that raindrops fragment into shapes like bags, dual bags, or bag stamens, patterns controlled by the Weber number, a ratio of fluid inertia to surface tension. This has real consequences. With better data on droplet size distributions, rainfall radar models can improve, especially during heavy storms. As lab lead Kirti Chandra Sahu says, no comparable facility exists anywhere in the world. Their models align with classic rainfall laws but with much better accuracy for larger drops that drive floods.
Since radar signals respond strongly to droplet size, even small miscalculations can skew rainfall predictions.
This work essentially could enhance flood forecasting, storm tracking, and weather warnings across the region. We highlight this research on Nature India this week. Next, a shift away from animal testing and towards smarter, radical alternatives. Once barely a handful, India's labs working on organ on chips and in silico testing have grown to over 80 thanks to policy changes like updated drug trial rules and acceptance in Indian pharmacopoeia. The global shift began with the US National Institute of Health moving away from animal reliant proposals and prioritizing human based models. Now, India is matching pace with organ on chip, synthetic endotoxin testing, and computational approaches slowly gaining ground. But experts caution without national coordination, validation, and infrastructure, India could fall behind. As Prajakta Dandekar at the Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai, notes, we still lack an integrated end to end national center that mirrors the systems in Europe or the US.
Right now, India doesn't really have a national center that can take these models all the way from start to finish like they do in the US, UK, or Europe. That's actually why last year some public and private groups got together and hosted a workshop. The whole idea was to start planning a clear roadmap to move these new approach methods forward.
Well, the push is on not just for ethical reasons, but because these methods often deliver better predictive power and faster results. Read a news feature by Surat Parvatam exploring these new alternatives on Nature India this week. And finally, to solid state science, a new crystal form of silicon made in India that actually emits light, breaking the decades long barrier of silicon's indirect band gap. What does that mean? Scientists led by Kiran Mangalampalli at SRM University synthesized hexagonal silicon, which glows when stimulated, unlike traditional cubic silicon. It's a rare structural form and opens up possibilities in lasers, LEDs, and next generation solar cells. What is the best bit here? You can revert it to normal silicon by heating. So you could, in theory, pattern chips with both functions. Its crystal structure can be turned on a chip to serve different functions in various electronic devices. This could usher in electronics that integrate light generation directly on circuits, a potential game changer. Read about this research on Nature India this week. So, AI scanning plastics for toxins, raindrops teaching us to forecast floods, India moving beyond animal testing, and a shiny new form of silicon promising light. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, please subscribe, share, and leave a rating. I'm Subhra Priyadarshini. Thanks for listening to This Week in India's Science. See you next time.